Alith Anar is still a very powerful lord even on Legendary, but there are some fundamental changes between how he's played in Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3. But today we've got 5 tips that will help you smash your Alith Anar campaign, whichever difficulty you're on, because the fundamental trappings of this campaign are the same regardless of how you play. But in Immortal Empires you really have to prepare yourself and have a sound core strategy, because this campaign can pull you literally in 3 different directions, and if you overexpose yourself one way, the other 2 directions can come and just smash you when you're not looking. Starting off with tip number 1 is don't scout. For the love of God, do not scout. Keep yourself nice and contained here. As you can see on the eastern front here, there is no exploration to be had. I do not want to discover Bellicor. I don't want to discover pirates. None of that, right? So every time you go out here, you have a chance of uncovering Norskins, demons, anything else. These are all enemies that can invade you, and none of it is good for you. Stay tight. Because your game plan is you need to take the Broken Lands, the Granite Hills, and you can hold off taking the Clawed Coast if you want with the Drown, but I do recommend taking it. These 3 provinces are your core. You need to build up your defenses and your walls. So tip number 2 is build up walls on these provinces, because you will get attacked, and as you can see, they can get basically anywhere. If you don't have walls here, they will sail past the walls and they'll take the easily exploitable minor settlements which don't have defenses. So make sure you build up walls and at least be in a position where you can raise a crisis army if you do get invaded. Build up walls on these core settlements. The ground. Stay small, build up your defenses, and then branch out. Tip number 3, don't just build assassins. I know that sounds really weird, right? But these assassins, they're expensive. This guy here is 250 gold upkeep every single turn. Now if you're going to send them around the map, you are breaking rule number 1, which is don't go around scouting, don't go around making enemies. Now in Warhammer 2 I did recommend sending these guys around the different edges of the map to collect these bounties. Now these bounties are good, but 5,000 gold is not worth being attacked endlessly by Norskins. You need to make sure that you're built up first. Once you've got your defenses, sure, don't even hire them as a scout, because 250 gold, you'll need that. You need every single cent for this. Why? Because you need construction. All of these minor provinces need to be built up to have walls and defenses. Once you've done that, then you have money to spend on assassins, but treat assassins as something that you maybe do like around turn 30, turn 40. Don't rush into it. And even then, in the early stages, just attack them with your armies. You can get the defeat trait. Assassins are awesome, especially in the late game, but just be sparing and don't build them for no reason in the early game. Tip number 4. Keep at least 1 enemy at any time. As you can see down here, we've made friends with the Sisters of Twilight, and that should be the goal for your southern border. You want to fight your way across here, you want Clark Carond, you want your capitals around here to prove as a defensive perimeter around your kingdom. If you want to turtle up, you can, but you need people attacking you. This army costs you money, you need to make money back because you won't be that rich, right? So you want at least 1 enemy if you can so much as afford it. But don't go around hunting until you've done its quest battle. The quest battle will give you the Reaver Bow. It's an amazing item, make sure you get it, and this will give you valuable funds that you can use to upgrade your settlements, like I said, to build up your defenses. Finally, tip number 5, which is the army composition. Now, if you've seen my High Elf army compositions, you will see that this is pretty much the exact army that I use. We've got 4 Shadow Walkers and the rest are Shadow Warriors. Now Shadow Walkers are a bit of a pain in the ass to hire because they take 2 turns, but there's a few ways around this. If you see my 7-turn walkthrough, I've managed to capture the first 2 provinces in 7 turns. Then it will be up to you to either defend this area from incoming Norskins or even start your own conquest, taking out the Drowned here, killing Taurox, and then even taking the Ward of Malekith. My point is you will have plenty of time and chances to get just 4 of these. The way I recommend achieving this is the turn where you know Alith Anar will be in the province. Use the recruitment edict when you know Alith Anar will be there, and this will give you +1 recruitment capacity. If Alith Anar's too busy, just hire another lord, get them to raise the 4 units, join them to Alith Anar, disband the lord. There's easy ways around this. Now why do I recommend it? Because these guys are so much better at holding the front line. You will eventually come to a situation where you will have a challenging army. Pretty hard. This army rocks. Not gonna lie. This army absolutely rocks. Make sure you invest in your archers, of course, and then get favorable wins. Look at the rank between rank 6 and rank 7, thanks to all of these upgrades. And there's still more upgrades you can get. But these guys land poison attacks, meaning you can slow them. They can fight a little bit better in melee. Alith Anar's an edgelord. He breaks so many rules. I normally always keep my nobles on foot. They go on an eagle. Eagles just synergize so well with this army. This whole army is meant to keep moving. I normally don't like shadow magic at all with high elves, but with Alith Anar it works so well. He is so fundamentally different, which is why I really recommend this campaign. let's get to the walkthrough. Just a quick reminder guys, if you are enjoying the video, please consider liking and subscribing, it really helps out. Ask any question in the comments, I answer everything, and if you'd like to talk strategy, feel free to join the Discord. Alright, we're going to do the walkthrough for the first 7 turns on Legendary difficulty, and then do an update at 20 and then 30 turns to give you a rough idea of your grand strategy and what to expect. When you start your new campaign, you'll be given 3 assassination contracts. They're RNG, so make sure one of them is the guy right in front of you, because that reward, the cash and influence, will be absolutely key. So if you don't get it, just restart. You've got a really high chance of getting it. I've done without it before, but if you want a strong start, I highly recommend it. So turn 1, auto-resolve this first battle. It'll give you a high amount of golden experience. Then occupy the Shrine of Galadriel. Again, auto-resolve to maximize that golden experience, and build the noble court building, because we're just going to build the noble and then destroy the building. Hire 5 Shadow Warriors, 3 of them locally and 2 of them globally. We're trying to fill this stack out as quickly as possible. Open your research and research archery prowess and give 1 gift to the drowned. We're just trying to keep them relatively on side and stop them from backdooring us.
This has my approval.
Turn number 2, nothing to do but attack Black Light Towers, so send your army straight there. You now have enough Shadow Warriors because you globally recruited last turn. Now make sure you start on the far right, but choose this particular wall facing. It's right between 2 towers, completely out of line of sight, and just advance the army up. Hold Alt, move the whole formation up, and then as you can see, we're littering arrows into this barricade, and then eventually can knock down the front gate with Alith Anar. Make sure you occupy this settlement. Hire 2 more Shadow Warriors. Make sure you get Bowmaster to improve your archers, as well as Pendulum on your Shadowcaster. Alright, so here we are, turn 3, and you should be able to be basically exactly like this. We've auto-resolved those earlier fights to make sure we get the most amount of gold, and I've shown you how to do the previous fight without losing a single unit, so we're in a really good spot. Keep on boosting Bowmaster, get yourself more ammunition, and there's Pendulum right there, just as we need it. We don't really need too much healing, but we'll move down to the shrine here, and we'll move our mage, because she's fully healed, just down here to the border. Let's just double check their balance of power. They're on par with us, so this is a good position. So if we wanted to attack them next turn, we would be primed to do so. Hire 2 more Shadow Warriors. We'll get Shadow Walkers when we get into this territory on the way back after we finish the peninsula, but just for now, we need to get these guys wiped out as quick as possible and start building up our defenses. Now that we've unlocked the right, we no longer need River Patrol. We can flip this over to Growth or Recruitment Capacity, which is what we'll do for now, because it'll give us an extra +1 recruitment. And the last thing we need to do is get ourselves Noble. You could choose to get a cheap noble and then just build up your influence to get a really good one here. For the sake of this demonstration, I really can't be bothered. We're just going to get this humble 10 influence noble here, and it's prudent, giving us some more ammunition. Turn number 4, and if you were holding up that really great noble trait, you should be able to get Invocation of Assyrian now, which will give you an extra +2, so in about sort of 3 or 4 more turns, you should have enough influence to get that really great noble. Like I said, I'd prefer to have him on the battlefield for the replenishment, or you can just get a really cheap one. Move him down, get the mage in his army, and now you can attack this settlement. First, besiege it, then bring your noble to join the battle. Put your noble into the battlefield, and now we want to do this battle without losing a single unit. On the battlefield, now it's time to find out exactly why this is such an obnoxious army. Let's hard group half these guys number 5, half number 6, and we have Alith Anar as number 1. We're going to use his decoy to avoid any damage to our army, and we have our Shadow Mage because she can't get any closer, as well as our Eagle, which is a great way of baiting and trying to push the enemy to where we need them. Let's start this battle. Okay, turn skirmish mode on. I know I'm breaking my golden rule here, but we can now bring all of our units up, and yeah, we're just going to shred them. Alright, everyone has skirmish mode enabled, so they will fall back if the enemy gets too close. Alright, falling back, which is great, falling back, and it just exposes more of their backs to the armies. Alright, make sure that you do target their archers first, and use your pendulum to make sure you take out the archers, and that should give you a rather easy win. Right, easy wins. Try to, of course, avoid damage, and we'll be occupying as usual, not taking any additional damage. Now, you might be wondering, why am I only getting Shadow Warriors? Well, I will get Shadow Walkers. I will have 5 by the time we finish this run through for the first probably around turn 15 we'll aim to get those. Thing is, they take 2 turns to recruit. I first want to secure this peninsula, and then we'll get those units. Okay, but we only need 5. We want them to hold the front and our rear. Keep on upgrading Bowmaster. And we of course want replenishment. You'll have a Dark Elf army to fight next turn, but you should be able to card it and destroy it without too much hassle. Make sure you prioritize upgrading your Black Light Tower there, and you'll have an extra space here. Just now, make sure that you don't get backdoored by these guys. Double check what they have, because they could get hostile on us at any moment. We've given the Vampire Coast here a gift, and that might piss them off. So just double check. That's still going up slightly. That's what we want. What we don't want is while we're out here getting backdoored by Salostra, and that can happen. So keep your eye on this. I promise you, if you don't, you will regret it. You'll lose these first 2 territories and have to take them on the way back. Not fun. Not disastrous, but you're better off not doing it. Turn 5, and this is where your alarm bells really need to be aware and make sure that this is still improving. If it's not improving and they haven't had any tribute or anything, they could attack you and they will backdoor you while you are out here. You don't want to be babysitting here, you want to be here finishing this peninsula, because Karankar is going to be your capital. This will be your main hub of operations here, and this more of a frontier, but we do need to secure this, so let's keep moving. So they've decided to go on the defense, that's fine. We've just moved Alith Anar up in ambush stance. I'm not going to hire any more units. I think we can take these guys, and hopefully they'll decide to think that's a great target and they'll attack it. If not, we'll attack them. Now turn number 6, I forgot to tell you, so if you have a really close assassination target, you can consider using the assassination and get yourself an assassin from that right. If not, you can just do whatever you want. You can maybe get the Invocation of Assyrian to make your capital upgrades a little bit cheaper. So that's something that I would do, and that will make your Blackwater Tower upgrade just a little bit cheaper. They didn't attack us over the end turn. They've got a second army here. Let's attack that and we'll draw the rest of them into a conflict. We've got an ambush, we may as well do it. Auto resolve for the win.
They are nothing.
Get the ransom, and now we will attack the settlement. Okay, on paper, a valiant defeat. Alright, so on the battlefield, you are going to have a difficult battle around this time. It'll either be the previous turn, or in the middle, or actually when you go to take the settlement, you'll have to fight a rather large battle. This is the hardest of those scenarios because we have the actual army itself, as well as its garrison that's going to come and reinforce them. So behind the deployment line, we of course need our basic units that we can't Vanguard deploy. That's fine. Make sure you hotkey your Eagle, as well as especially your Mage and your Noble as well. Up the front, we're going to have Alith Anar. We're going to use his mislead ability up the front here to try and group up as many as we can. And I've got a large group of number 5 and a large group of number 6 of Shadow Warriors, and they're all going to have Skirmish mode activated, so they can kite the enemy away, and then hopefully they'll get caught by the spears here. Now this map does suck for us immensely because there's a lot of vegetation and our arrows are likely to get caught in the trees, but let's see how all of this goes. We're also going to make sure from the get-go we target their archers. Okay, so I'm going to quickly start the battle, target these guys, and then target these guys. Okay, cast mislead up here, and let's bring our mage up here as well as our eagle. Gonna start kiting away, that's fine. Here we go. Alright. Gonna cast pendulum.
It will be done.
Very good.
Acknowledged. Swiftly.
Now the hardest thing is to make sure they're not walking on top of each other and obstructing each other. Okay.
We will obey.
So just make sure you keep distracting their archers up on the reinforcements. Alright, let's send our spears up here. Our noble, hold them tight. Even though our mage isn't the best for it, she can also group the enemy. And using pendulum when they're grouped up around Alith Anar himself. Double check, just make sure his mislead ability isn't available yet. Okay, cool. Okay, volley when they're walking away. See how their backs are exposed? This is what we want, arrows to hit them in the rear. Okay, cool, they're getting wise to it, but everyone's littering arrows. They're going to break any second now. Alright, cool.
Archers! Death to all! Weapons ready!
Make sure you prioritize those dark shards. They will hurt you a lot. If you get a good chance to use a good pendulum, just take it. Alright, cool.
For duty!
Okay, you may get a closer Empiric victory on that one, but it really doesn't matter. That's basically all their army's taken out. Just occupy it, and you should get some good replenishment from your noble, which will now have the replenishment. Oh geez, we've got 2 replenishment points now, and just keep boosting melee defense. And now for research. Normally I'd go spear wall militia training. Instead, get trumpeters. An extra 5% foot speed on your kiting units is very, very good. So get that next. As usual, Alith Anar breaks all the rules, like a true edgelord. And you know what? Let's do it. Let's play it safe. We may as well. We don't really have anyone to trade with at this point, so we can't build up those resources just yet. So let's play slow and reserved. I'm trying to show good legendary play here. take your time. I like to choose the safer route, so let's give these guys... When Silvestra has run out of enemies by destroying her initial enemy, that means that she's very open to join other wars, and she wants to afford her military by having a conflict to use it on. If you don't give her a target, then she will choose the nearest and weakest one, which is you, so make sure you get her to join a war, even against the Dark Elves you're currently with, against anyone. Just distract her and keep her on side long enough so you can turn on her when you're ready. Alright, now if you were absolutely bodied by that last battle, you can take an extra turn. You should have a good level on your noble to heal you back up, but I don't really feel the need for that. I think we can take this on, look at what they had before you do it, and it's quite a large garrison, but they've only got, it looks like 7 ranged units, and those are the only ones I'm really concerned with. We've also got magic on our side. Here we are on the battlefield for Karanka, basically our capital away from capitals. The only thing you have to worry about on this far side of the map here is pretty much one tower there, so we're pretty safe. Just of course always see what the actual effect is of that tower, because you don't want a nasty surprise. In battles like this you often want to actually switch off fire at will, because we only want to be taking out their archers. Alright, targeting their dark shards. Excellent. Get Alith Anar to knock down the door. Hold Alt to make sure he does it with his sword and doesn't start shooting people. Right. And now we can see their ranged units are staying still. Focus them down. The Dark Elf crossbows are very dangerous, but if you take those away from them, they can't do much damage. And when you're ready again, just feel free to drop your mislead in there. They'll think that that is Alith Anar in the flesh. Absolutely worth rushing down. Little do they know. Make sure you get a really good pendulum out of this. And there you go, close victory. Even though we didn't really lose many troops, it is what it is. Let's occupy. You could easily get a decisive there if you so choose, depending how much you want to fast forward or not. And that is it. So turn 7, we've managed to get our first 2 provinces. Now our main goal here is to build these up. We need to make them defensible. We want walls on basically everything there, and of course there, because you will get Norskins attacking you from here. You will get demons attacking you from here. We need to be prepared, and let's not forget, big bad Malekith might come for us. Here we will prioritize growth. Alright, here we are, turn 20, and now you can see we have managed to not discover anyone else on this side. They might send a cheeky scout out, and you may need to go and do what we originally did, which is go take them out at Albion. If that doesn't happen, then you're going to be looking a lot better. You could even have sent your second army here, down here to Alth 1 and start discovering the other elf factions. Remember, once you trade with one, it uncovers their whole area. You can trade with another and it just all daisy chains, and you can actually start building up your resources. You now have marble and iron here, worth doing. Always get precise fletchings as soon as you can. Massive increase to your ammo and damage. That's one of the best technologies, and then make sure you get the armor after that. Let's keep on upgrading. All around, make sure there's no other main settlements we can upgrade that need it more. That's a risky settlement anyway. Yep. Cool. Alright. Okay, so there's Malekith. He's coming in to have a go at us, I'm guessing. Looking at his diplomacy, he's got no one else down here who's at war with other than us, so he's got to be coming down to take out our settlements. I think we can we underpass, because we can use the Shadow Realm? Let's cut him off and stop him from intercepting us. I don't mind if we lose that. I do mind if I lose these. And we will colonize.
Infused by Hoeth's wisdom.
And build it up. Okay, cool. We've got ourselves another capital, guys. This is an excellent settlement to have. I love this one. Clarkeron really does help establish a frontier here with the walls on there. The walls on these 2 settlements here, we're really starting to get fortified, and down here we have a capital that's also walled. So as you see, we're making a nice fortification network, and this is the Twilight. Look like they're doing strong. Hey. Alright, let's sign an agreement. Can I get you to join this war? What would it take? That's definitely worth it.
Agreed.
Okay, whenever you see someone does not have an opponent, and they're not at war with anyone, give them an opponent. Make sure you control that. You shouldn't have people attacking you from the north. That is super rare when that happens. And if you did, you have walls, lots of walls for days, and you can just keep on building that stuff up. So that's how you do it. This is Elven Plot Armor. I'll see you next time.